this segment, we'll be taking on the topic expanding representation of young Africans in global sports. My name is Chizoba Mofebo. Welcome to Culture Conversations. Nigeria has been holding the torch on the global scene for our impressive arts and entertainment culture. And by the looks of it, we can now add sports to the retinue, as more and more young Africans have begun to leave their mark in global sports, from football to basketball and now archery. And today I have a guest to do justice to this topic. Emmanuel Oyeleke is a globally sought-after visual artist and medaled archer. He is the creative director of Emmanuel Oyeleke Photography and has served leading brands like Amazon, Coca-Cola, Netflix, Mattel, Jameson, Technomobile, UNICEF, and more. Emmanuel is also an official Canon ambassador. His passion for the sports of archery ignited in 2018. He currently holds the title of Nigerian National Archery Champion. In 2022, he proudly represented his country at the 12th African Archery Championship in South Africa, where his team secured silver medals. He is also the current captain of the Nigerian archery team. In 2022 also, he was also interviewed on CNN Africa's Avant-Garde, and he has been involved in notable commissions and campaigns like the official portrait for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and more. Emmanuel is also the founder of Zen Studios and Zen Archery. Emmanuel, it is amazing to have you on board.
Thank you, Chizoba. Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you today.
Thank you so much for making time out of your very busy schedule to be here today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
So, first question: why archery of all the existing sports? Why archery?
Why archery? I think that question is something that I really don't have like a straight answer to. It's just something I've always been very sports inclined. I was a Scrabble champion. I used to play Scrabble. I was at the World Youth Championship. I was at the World Youth Championship in 2009 in Malaysia. I played badminton for a while. I played chess for a little bit. So I've always been sports inclined, and I believe that sports is one of those things that can really, really change the destiny and trajectory of a person. I mean, whatever it is, be it football, be it basketball, sports has the power to lift you from nothing to something. Case in point, I was on scholarship when I was in the university for 3 years, just playing Scrabble. Full scholarship. So while other people were paying for university, I was actually just doing my thing. So why archery? After I started photography, I knew I couldn't do Scrabble as much as I used to do it, because Scrabble was very time intensive. Like you have to study day and night. You have to play also as much as you study, and you can't serve two masters at the same time. So I had to leave Scrabble, not leave it totally, but just not do it actively. And I was looking for something else as pastime. I've always been very active. I don't like sedentary lifestyle. So I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do that is a sport I can do on my own, that doesn't require much of a team sport like football, that you have to have a few people before you can practice. I looked at darts. I did darts for a while. But eventually I was like, you know what, I want to try archery. But there was nobody doing it in Nigeria. So I was researching. I kept researching for a while. Then I saw someone. His name is Ladi Alakpini. Ladi Alakpini is based in the UK. I saw his post saying he was coming to Nigeria to teach archery. So I reached out to him. After a year, he came to Nigeria. After 1 year. And when he came, he reached out to me. Oh, are you still interested? I said, yes, I'm very interested. So I went for introductory classes with him at Lekki Archers Club, Pinefield School in Lekki. And then thereafter, I bought my equipment and I started archery. That was
wow.
it. Yes.
Wow. Talk about kismet. So now that you've been in it for a bit,
yes,
you know, a lot of, as we said, is we're trying to talk about expanding of, you know, the representation of young Africans.
Yes.
So what would you say to young Africans, you know, young Africans, are the benefits of being in a sport like, especially archery? Like, what's the benefit?
Sports generally, like I said, has the power to take you from zero to something. I mean, it can lift you out of poverty. It can give you a purpose in life. So whatever it is, even not archery, even if it's not archery, whatever it is that you find to do it well. There's no point. I mean, that's one thing with me. Whenever I pick up something, even when I pick it up as a hobby, I take it so serious. And I want to see it done at the highest level. I want to put the same level of commitment and excellence that I put into my work, into my hobbies. And then my hobbies end up becoming work for me again. But I enjoy it. But in terms of... it's something we need to do now. It's something we need to do because as a country, as a continent, we don't have the best PR. And I think exporting, when you look at Nigerian music, for instance, is making waves all over the world. Wherever you go, people are jamming Nigerian music in clubs, in even taxi drivers. Oh, they'll ask you, do you know Davido? Do you know Burna Boy? And it's always something that lifts your spirit, even as an African. And we can do the same in sports, with sports. Whenever I travel, someone is asking me, oh, do you know Vinicus? Or do you know, because of my hairstyle, a lot of people feel, oh, you're a footballer. Whenever I'm passing through airports, and they're, oh, do you know this? Do you know this guy? He plays for Real Madrid. Do you know, when I went to Tunisia, they were asking, Rashidi, Yakini. People, because when we went to Tunisia, I think Rashidi played for Esperance, or a club in Tunisia. So they kept shouting, oh, Nigeria, Rashidi, Yakini. That was what they were saying. So we can improve the PR of Nigeria through sports. And doing it right now and doing it excellently is one of the things we can do to really do that. That's what I think.
What would you say that are some of the challenges you've experienced with regards to, there's always the talk about like black people not being, or just Africans not being accepted into this global sports circle. There's a lot of discrimination and everything. But we've also heard a lot of also wonderful stories about great sportsmanship and everything, community. So which have you experienced, the negative or the positive?
Well, even like whenever my outlook towards life is never to look at the negative side. It's never to look, it's always looking from the point of positivity. So even when there's a challenge, it's either to make me stronger or to set me up for a bigger reward. Or so that's the way I look at life. That's the way I look at things. But it's right there. It's right there because coming from a place like Nigeria, we're already at a disadvantage. Why did I say that? We need to attend competition in Paris, we need to attend competition in USA, and we have to apply for visas in time. Sometimes visas don't come. Last year we were at South Africa for the African Championships, and I got my visa the night before I traveled to South Africa. And that was with push. And after that, I've been to South Africa once on the same visa. And then the next 2 times I applied for a South African visa this year, it was denied without reason. So already we're at a disadvantage because I want to go for training, I want to go for courses, I want to go for competitions, but because of these restrictions, I really can't do that. So, but we keep going.
We keep pushing because that's something we're known for.
Absolutely.
Resilience.
Absolutely. So that's
fantastic. Anyway, so just dialing back, just tying back to segueing from what you said, what would you say that the government, you guys need the government, archers and sportsmen, women. Absolutely. What do you need the government to do to make this,
So far, especially in the case of archery, it's a peculiar case because all the times we've gone outside the country to represent Nigeria, all the times we've been to Mauritius this year, been to Tunisia, South Africa, we've been self-sponsored. Wow. Yes. Our equipments cost a lot. My bow cost about $2,000. When I bought it, that was last year. And that's not the top of the tier bow, for instance. We buy these things ourselves. It costs a lot to practice the game. And I'm sure with any other sports too. We want to get coaches, international coaches. There are other countries in Africa that gets grants from the government, gets grants from international bodies to have their athletes go to the Excellence Center. We have people that are underrepresented at the Olympics, getting grants from the Olympic Committee to send athletes to Excellence Center to for training courses. We need all this in Nigeria because without this, it's not sustainable. Right now, I would say I'm feeding archery through the work I do as a photographer, but that can only go so far. We need the input of the government. We need the input of corporate organizations and individuals to make sure that we get to the highest level. That's it.
So, as I always say, Africa has been saved by her arts,
Yes.
but now we can add sports.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, so we
Absolutely.
can go back. I do believe that Nigeria and Africa are going to become world powers like we rightfully should be.
Yes.
You know, and I know that it's the young people doing that
Absolutely.
for us.
I think it's the will of people coming together and having a goal. For me, my goal right now is to break the African record by next year.
Cool.
Yes, and after that, World Championships. And after that, my dream is to be able to start something. I mean, I might not be the one to go to the Olympics. I might not be the one to win the Olympic medals. But I've started a platform. I've inspired someone to say, oh, Emmanuel has done it. I can do it too. That's the dream. That in the next 8 years, we can produce archers that will go to the Olympics and will win medals for Nigeria. That's it.
That's fantastic. With all the embargoes you've placed, you've stated, like the poor funding.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's going to make a lot of young Africans just feel very defeated. You know, so what is your advice or encouragement to young people out there who don't have the $2,000, but they want to, you know, they want to pursue this and they want to do Nigeria proud.
Yes.
What's your charge to them?
My charge is start where you are. Start with what you have. Do it. Just do it. The most important step you can take is to start, because you might not really figure out what the journey is at the beginning, but eventually when you start, when you put one foot in front of the other, things will happen. Last week, I didn't know I was going to be here speaking about archery.
Yes.
So right now I'm here. This would start other things. This will kickstart other conversations. Many people will watch this and be inspired to pick up the game. So that's how change happens, one step at a time.
You must start.
That's it, just start.
And then talking about, you know, inspiring other people and young people and then wanting to come in, you have Zen Archery.
Absolutely. So we're starting operations already. We started already. Zen Archery is located in Ilupeju, Lagos. And what we have to do with Zen Archery is we intend to replicate the model in several other places. So we will have some on the island, we'll have in Ekpe, Ikorodu, and hopefully with the help of the government and the corporate organizations, we can make this happen. We also want to put together a fantastic competition that people can see, can be broadcast, and people can watch and also be inspired. We can invite international athletes to Nigeria to come and participate in the game of archery, and they can see Nigeria. It's tourism for us. It's putting Nigeria on the map one way or another.
Okay. So last question, Emmanuel.
Yes.
You know, there's the talk about the curse of being multi-talented. But for someone like you, seeing that you're handling it, you might have you're going through the struggles, obviously, as a creative, but you've been able to master, you know, all the creative pursuits or these things you've gone into. Young people out there have the problem of, you know, picking one and and mastering. And you think they should pick one, or they can do a couple of them together?
Well, I always say this is your life. You have one life to live. Live them.
Leave them.
Yeah. So people are wired differently. Some people can multitask. I mean, some people think it's a myth. Some people can handle different things at different times. But what I've seen, or what I've seen that has worked for me, is I approach my passions one at a time. So I try as much as possible to do something, gain mastery in it, and then eventually I can use the mastery I've gotten in one to feed the passion for the other one, and then I can move on. So that's what I've done. So I pick one thing at a time. I had a mentor that once told me, oh, you have this many passions. I was a computer programmer. I studied computer science twice. Polytechnic and university. I was building web applications. I was doing designs. I was doing photography. I could play Scrabble. I could cook. So my mentor told me, Isaac Mokbai, he said, you know what, if all you had was one talent, what would you do with that one talent? So that's it.
Exactly.
take it serious.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Thank you very
Wish
much.
we had all day to talk about this.
Absolutely, we're on and on. Absolutely.
But thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you for starting up this new, movement,
Wave, yes.
wave and movement. And we hope that the government has heard our plea and the private companies have heard our plea. Emmanuel, thank you very much. Africa will be great again.
Definitely.
And our
Nigeria will be
Nigeria is
great.
great again. And our younger generation has seen to that, even in archery. And we say thank you. I will be joining John and Helen after this short break to wrap up the show. Stay tuned.